Hey everyone, Wolf Lord Rho here. The day has finally arrived. Sanguinius week begins. You the people made the choice, and the angel won in a landslide. So today we begin our week of really looking into what makes the angel tick. And what better place to begin than the Great Crusade, and Sanguinius' first ever meeting with his brother, Jaghatai Khan. Now, the events we are going to be discussing today are from the Horus Heresy Primarchs novel, Jaghatai Khan, Warhawk of Jaghatai. And as usual, I really recommend you read the novel for yourself first, because that's the best way to enjoy the lore for yourself. Not only that, but we help to support Games Workshop and Black Library, because without them, we don't have this amazing lore to talk about. But with that said, let's just jump straight in. Now this is set, as I said, during the Great Crusade. The Khan has departed from Terra and been set loose amongst the stars. After prosecuting a successful campaign, the newly christened White Scars detect a shadow, following them in the depths of space. It's distant, very distant, but it's clear something or someone is tracking them. The Khan, of course, is not one to be cornered so easily, and it takes 2 whole months of pursuit and searching before finally they receive a communication from their would-be pursuer. Ident prefixes indicate the 9th Legion Astartes, the Blood Angels. Sanguinius congratulates his brother for prolonging the chase for so long, but now asks for permission to come aboard. The Khan, wary as ever, instead informs the Angels that he'll come aboard the Red Tier instead, to meet his brother Sanguinius for the first time. As the Khan's transport flies along the side of Sanguinius' flagship, even Jaghatai himself admits he can admire the workmanship. The Red Tier, the perfect blend between a work of art and a weapon of war. So different to the barren, practical ships of the Scars. Once aboard, they are greeted by Azkelion and escorted to the Primarch's private chamber. The Khan's honour guard departing to see more of their brother Legion, leaving the 2 Primarchs alone. "My sons are curious about you," came a voice from the far side of the chamber. "You must forgive them. I am too, if I'm honest." The room was large. Ranks of columns supported a high coffered ceiling, the panels decorated with plasterwork sigils of the Blood Angels' homeworld. Porcelain vases stood on brass-topped tables. A basalt sculpture of an idealised human grappled with a writhing serpent dominated the centre of the space, under which a high dome had been raised, inlaid with a mosaic depicting the red walls of the famed fortress monastery of the Blood Angels. Everything was symmetrical, arranged in strict geometric proportion. The harmony was palpable, as concrete as the superficial decoration that only served to enhance the underlying principle. The architect of those chambers had been a spiritual soul, as well as an intellectual, and it was likely, of course, that the Khan was looking at him now. The angel Sanguinius was not merely beautiful. Beauty was a strangely cheapened word for the aura that the Primarch of the 9th Legion possessed. He was too dangerous and too nakedly predatory for that. And yet, it was impossible not to be drawn to that smooth, pale face, so like the golden masks that adorned the flagship's outer plating. When he moved, it was with a dancer's unconscious poise. Everything was the epitome of the human ideal, save for the one obvious flaw. And yet even that, those ice-white wings that marked him out as the most hated and feared of things, a mutant, had a symmetry of its own. Man, I love this description of Sanguinius. We all know of the legendary beauty of him, but so often that overwhelms the entire descriptions. The fact that he is still a living, breathing weapon of war, if not the most dangerous one, too often is undersold or even overlooked. But here Chris Raitt absolutely nails it and balances the two brilliantly. Beauty was a strangely cheapened word for the aura that the Primarch of the Ninth Legion possessed. He was too dangerous and too nakedly predatory for that. Man, really good writing. And to be honest, the whole interaction is, we know Chris Raitt has really kind of taken ownership of Jaghatai Khan and the White Scars, but I'd love to see him get some more Sanguinius time. Sanguinius came up to his brother, a goblet in each hand, and handed one to the Khan. To fraternity, he said, raising his. The wine was heavily spiced, no doubt priceless. You must accept my apologies, the angel said, gesturing towards two immense thrones, carved from mahogany and capped with ivory. My herald was mistaken from the outset. They tell me that Star Hunter is a name no longer to be uttered. No apology needed, the Khan said, seating himself awkwardly opposite his brother. Despite himself, he could not help staring at the way the whispering wing quills settled around the angel as he reclined, like a shimmering cloak of silver pinions. It means nothing to us. White Scar, said Sanguinius, amused, though not maliciously. Those are the two words now making us talk from Terra to Ultramar. Would it flatter you to know that you are a source of some fascination, brother? That there was a race among us to see who could corner you first? Not especially. No, I guess not. We were Tauskar, that was the origin of it, the Khan said. For some reason, sitting there in the presence of this dazzling, ethereal presence, he felt there should be some explanation. Our livery now, as it was on Chagoris, is white. They misheard the first. They observed the second. Their words, not ours. Sanguinius shrugged. We're all made into images for them. That is our purpose, you might say. He leaned forwards, and between you and me, he flashed his impossibly handsome smile. I am not really an angel. And with that, Jaghatai Khan laughs. Here we have the king of reclusive, antisocial behaviour amongst the Primarchs. Okay, I guess the lion could give him a run for his money. But in mere moments of meeting Sanguinius, we've had him offering up explanations for the name White Scars, and even laughing. How on earth was Sanguinius not named War Master? I know Horus was famed for his charisma, but let's be real here. He's got nothing on Sanguinius. Could you really see the fractures happening between the Primarchs if it was Sanguinius? I mean, the only possible one I can even remotely think of is Horus himself, and that's out of pure jealousy. Their conversation continues with Sanguinius complimenting Jaghatai on the skills of his shipmasters and the speed with which he prosecuted his last campaign. They were gone before the angel even arrived, and he knows full well how tough a foe they were, having fought many battles against them himself. Then why were you not sent to destroy them? Your pardon? You had the measure of them. The Khan took a swig of his own. We used intelligence your legion had gathered. I wonder why you were not sent to finish the task. The angel shrugged. We had other battles. The Khan smiled cynically. I've not been doing this for as long as you, but I'm not slow-witted. He placed his goblet beside him and leaned forwards in his throne. We were sent there to witness the depravities of devotion. Through this we were enjoined to understand the wisdom of the imperial truth. You do not see the need for it? I'm yet to be convinced. I'd heard the rumours. This is where you tell me that I need to understand the necessity that we shield them for their own good, and that the deceptions are noble, for all that they remain illusion. Sanguinius said nothing for a while. He looked at his brother thoughtfully, the last of his smile dying away. You have psychers in your legion, he said at last. Of course. A librarius? Of a kind. Then that is already a refutation, the angel said. The populace can believe our powers are bounded by science. Even our generals, if they want to. We know it isn't. I think Jaghatai here wrongly thinks Sanguinius is here to lecture him on the needs for the imperial truth. That perhaps he was sent by Malcador, but that's not the case, as the Angel's true intentions become clear. The argument brewing amongst the Primarchs regarding the Librarius. And there's a great line from Sanguinius. Despite what you may believe, my wayward brother, the throne listens to its sons. And that's a very good point by Sanguinius, because regardless of whatever criticisms you throw at the Emperor, and of course there are some very valid, the whole Council of Nikaea only comes about because the Emperor was listening to the concerns of his sons. But here Sanguinius informs Jaghatai of the disagreements regarding the use of psychers, and that he can't stand alone on this one. If he wants to keep his Stormseers, he should join himself and Magnus's calls to keep the Librarius as part of the legions. The Khan fought on that. "I've never desired fellowship with any of you," he said eventually, almost uncertainly, as if the sentiment was being dragged out of him. "Do not take that as pride, more like necessity," he grimaced. "I find obligation to others difficult. When I see walls, I wish to escape them. That is a flaw, no doubt. But then we were made the way we are for a reason. You would not find me an easy colleague." The Angel laughed. "Have you met the Master of Olympia yet? These things are all relative. Our weather makers are central to who we are. They fought with us before he came. They will do so for as long as we take up blades." "Then defend them." For a moment longer they held one another's gaze, as if embarked on some silent test of will. The similarity between them was evident then. Two demigods, created from the same source and imbued with the same terrifying level of self-belief. The Angel was more splendid in aspect, his outline hazy with the gold reflection from his artificer plate. Yet the Khan, Lord of the Plains world, matched him in stature. As ever with him, there was the sense of something hidden, an elusiveness that was integral rather than incidental, as if when reaching out to grasp him you would always fail, clutching at air while his designs played out across another battlefield entirely. But it was the Khan's eyes that moved away first. Okay, first of all, I love Jaghatai trying to explain himself to Sanguinius here, to help him understand the way he is. It makes you wonder if he did this for every brother, or was it just because he was with the Angel? My money's on Sanguinius. And then the test of wills as they stare at each other, and the Khan relenting first. Man, there are few Primarchs as confident in themselves and their actions as Jaghatai. But even he relents when up against the Angel. God, we need more Great Crusade era Sanguinius. The Angel in all his glory, before he became consumed with his fate against Horus. This Sanguinius, the one who can get Jaghatai Khan laughing and get him to look away in a test of wills. I'd love to see more first meetings with Sanguinius, of all the Primarchs really, but especially him. Sanguinius meeting the Emperor for the first time. I mean, if we don't get that in his Primarch novel, I don't know what I'm gonna do. But even with his meeting other Primarchs, Russ especially. But what did you guys think? Were you surprised by the Khan's reaction? Would you like to see more of a Chris Wright written Sanguinius like me? He really seems to be able to capture the essence of some of the Primarchs really well. We've seen the work he's done with Jaghatai, but even here in this short scene, he really captures the essence of Sanguinius, a lot more so than other authors have managed to do so. As always, drop your thoughts in the comments below, I love to read them. A huge thank you to all my subscribers, your support really means a lot to me, it truly does. And if you're new, please consider subscribing to help the channel grow. And if you enjoyed this particular vid, then why not drop a like on it too. And don't forget, Sanguinius Week will continue tomorrow. But with that said, I am off, and I'll see you all again real soon.